Hello everyone. So there's been an announcement. We're going to get a Zelda movie, and I'm pretty excited, and a lot of you guys are a little bit excited, but of course, we all have our reservations. Is this really going to be good? Is this something to be excited about? And if we look at the language of this, as we come over here, this is where it was announced very nonchalantly. It says, development of a live-action Zelda film of the Legend of Zelda to start. So live action, people were pretty upset that it was live action instead of animated, and while I am a huge fan of animation, and I think it's like a beautiful medium, and I legitimately, I prefer animation over anything else, I think that choosing a live action medium for Zelda makes a lot of sense, because I think they want to be taken pretty seriously here, and even though the stigma around animation is for kids is untrue, I think they want to avoid all of that as much as possible, and maybe try to appeal to a more like hardcore, maybe an older audience, something like that. I can really envision something like the Lord of the Rings movies coming into this with like heavy mythology and the story sort of being almost secondary to just this beautiful world that they're building out. And you see that in a lot of Zelda games, right? Where the gameplay is the focus and the story is secondary. I think we're almost going to get something like that here, where the world first and foremost is the main thing driving us through this movie, alongside the characters, and the story is sort of secondary, and then hopefully future endeavors they can get more involved with that and stuff as well. I think it's going to be a great story. That's my prediction, that the story is going to not going to be anything too crazy or too deep in that Zelda lore like a lot of you fans would like. But going back to the wording of this here, Nintendo CEO blah 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 today announced that it will develop a live-action film of The Legend of Zelda. The film will be produced by Shigeru Miyamoto, representative director and fellow of Nintendo at Avi Arad, chairman of Arad Productions Incorporated. Has produced many mega hit films. He has done a lot of the Spider-Man movies, and that is mostly his claim to fame, and also did the Uncharted movies, so a lot of Tom Holland from this guy. The film will be produced by Nintendo and Arad Productions and is directed by Wes Bell. Wes Bell is most well known for directing the Maze Runner movies. That's really, I think, the main big thing that he's directed. Those are pretty good movies, but listen, if Nintendo was going for director, and I'm just throwing this out there, Quentin Tarantino could make a crazy R-rated Zelda movie, but I know that's not what we want. But the film will be co-financed by Nintendo, and this is weird, Sony Pictures Entertainment Inc., with more than 50% financed by Nintendo. The theatrical distribution of the film will also be done worldwide by Sony Pictures Entertainment, which is, again, I think is very interesting. I think the fact that Sony and Nintendo are working together here is very cool, and I think, it does a lot to be like, console wars aren't really a thing anymore, just to be honest. By producing visual contents of Nintendo IP by itself, Nintendo is creating new opportunities to have people from around the world to access the world of entertainment which Nintendo has built through different means apart from its dedicated game consoles. By getting deeply involved in the movie production with the aim to put smiles on everyone's face through entertainment, Nintendo will continue its efforts to produce unique entertainment and deliver it to as many people as possible. So, again, I'm very excited. I think this is going to be a banger. And real quick, my dream cast for this, we got Tom Holland as Link. I literally just think it's going to happen. I don't know if he's like the ideal one, but I don't think he'd be bad. And then if we're doing like star-studded, I would think that Emma Watson would be a absolutely killer Zelda as well, and just throwing out there, The Rock as Ganondorf. But I'm also really hoping that we don't go star-studded and that we go a little bit more unknown actors, so that we can associate those actors as being the characters, right? This actor, that's Link. That's not Tom Holland playing Link. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm getting at? So I feel like by doing it that way, that can add a lot, and I don't know if Nintendo knows to do that, because they are pretty new in the movie business. But you think about things like Snow White, when she was in the 30s, Walt Disney had a contract with that actress that she was not going to act in anything else. They paid her a ton of money, but it was like, you are Snow White. This is what your voice is associated with. We don't want Snow White playing, these other characters, because you are going to be Snow White. Obviously, I don't think it has to be as extreme as that is, but I think it could be really cool just to have some unknown actors that we really associate with these characters. I think it could do a lot to add to the film as well. Obviously, it's going to be a very nicely produced movie. It's by Sony. Sony does some great movies and stuff like that. It is a little questionable, what was his name again? The producer. He's produced some questionable things, like A lot of people didn't really love Uncharted. And we'll have to see. I'm sure they're going to respect the source material a ton because Nintendo is involved, so I'm not too worried in that sense, but, there's always a chance that things can go astray. But again, I understand. We wanted it to be animated. We wanted Studio Ghibli to do it, and I also wanted that, I would have loved to see what an animated Zelda looks like, but I think a, mythology-rich Zelda, live action, very, amazing, beautiful sets, sort of like Lord of the Rings, but not too similar because we don't want to get that comparison, but if they can build a world like Lord of the Rings has, I think it can do a lot to make, this a big blockbuster series. And I also think that, animated movies, while a lot of people associate them as being smaller movies and stuff, they take a lot longer usually than live action films because there is so much going into a live action or animated movie. It's not just you have the actors, doing their thing on the set. It's you have to intrinsically animate all of these things. It's going to take 10 years. So I think they probably chose live action just to save some time and to capitalize on that hype of the Mario movie because they could probably turn this around in the next few years in my head. But let me know what you guys think about this. Is this cool? Are you excited? Let me know all of that in the comments down below. Check out this video. It's banger. It's vibe. It's a good time. I will see you next week with a better video and maybe a second video today. Or a second video later this week. Thank you. Bye.